Okay guys, so today we're going to look at some attacks from the closed guard. Okay. So the idea of this sequence here is that always in the closed guard I'm looking to break my partner down so that I could attack my submission holds. So in a situation where my partner has good posture and it's challenging for me to come up and get him down, every time I come up he's pushing me down, he's got good posture, he's sitting his hips back, and it's just not happening. He's able to keep me down with his hands. This is a situation where I'm going to look, instead of trying to bring him forward with my legs, I'm going to come up to him. Okay, and in these sequences, the important thing about coming up and attacking my partner is the angle that I take to come up. Usually there's going to be a lead hand. Okay, so whatever hand is lead, it's going to be much easier for me to come up diagonally across the arm. If I try to sit up with my right shoulder, it's pretty easy for my partner to hold me down. So with this lead hand, I'm going to move my hips. Okay, so I'm going to place my hand on the knees, I'm going to get an angle with my hips, and then I'm going to put my forearm behind me so that I turn perpendicular. Okay, just for the purpose, we're going to switch sides. Notice my partner's left hand is on my chest, so I'm coming across diagonally. Notice how I place my forearm behind me, which allows me to get at a perpendicular angle. Being at a perpendicular angle is going to make it very challenging for your partner to push you down. If I square up here, it's so easy for Ron to keep me to the ground. So I'm going to turn perpendicular. It starts losing the effectiveness of this hand. My hands are going to come behind me, and I'm going to start coming up on my partner. Okay, and it's really important that my fingers are facing backwards so I have a lot more stability here. If my hand's facing out and my partner pushes into me, okay, I'm going to be pushed back down to the mat. So rotating my hand backwards is going to allow me to get my hips up. Okay, the other important detail here is that I'm going to try to put my armpit on top of my partner's shoulder. Okay, and that's going to help me heist my hips off the ground. Okay, so I'm going to sit my hips up and I'm going to keep trying to walk my hand up so that I get my hips higher. Okay, now that I've come up, a lot of things will happen here, but even the good thing about this position is even if I get pushed down to the ground, I can bring my partner down with me, and now I have him back into a position where I can attack him. Okay, so my partner's sitting up. I'm going to get my angle, get my forearm behind me. I'm perpendicular here. I'm going to start reaching up. I'm going to use my hands behind me to get my shoulder up high. And then once I'm high in this position, I have some options. The first option I look over is to sweep my partner over. It's a very fundamental position in Jiu-Jitsu. We call it up and over sweep. Okay, so if my partner is sitting down, I'm going to grab onto his wrist, I'm going to plant my foot on the ground, and I'm going to open up my hips so that I get very high. And you can see how much height I get here. I'm going to look over my left shoulder, and I'm going to allow my left knee to open. Okay, there's going to be space now, and I want to push that arm through. So the hand that's on the elbow, once I elevate and I look over my shoulder, I'm going to pull his arm in, and then I'm just going to use my hips to heist him over, and I'm going to land right in the mount position. Okay guys, so let's look at this different angle here, and really the focus is my hip movement in this position. So I'm going to use my elbows on the mat so that I can lift my hips up, and notice how I turn my hip and I bring my hips up on my partner's thigh. Okay, that's going to allow me to twist very easy. Okay, so I need to move my hips first to get an angle so I can twist my body, and then from this position it's going to be very difficult for your partner to push you down. So he's not going to be able to push me down. The more that I stay perpendicular, the harder it's going to be for him to push me down to the mat. Okay, so if you open up this way, notice how the way my body, okay, I'm going to get pushed down. So I use my elbows, lift my hips up, twist, and then come up and over. Once I come up and over, I'm going to put my armpit on my partner's shoulder. I need to turn my hand out and bring my hand up a little bit. Okay, the closer the better. I'm going to control my partner's arm. I'm going to look over my shoulder, and then I'm going to elevate. Okay, and you guys can see how much I elevate my body. Once my hips come up and over, okay, my partner doesn't have any leverage anymore. I'm going to pull his arm in even tighter, and then I'm going to turn him over. Okay, and I'm going to land right in the mount position here. Okay, so first thing, hip movement, get an angle, come up and over. Okay, got my hand planted on the mat. If I need to bring my hips up higher, I'll bring my hand closer, then elevate. I'm going to control my partner's arm, and then I'm going to turn straight over to the mount position.